You will know, my gorgeous Cancer, that really bad period and really bad situation in your life is going to come to an end when you become aware of what you're going to become aware of at the beginning of this week. So it's about the specific information that you are going to get through somebody who has been a rather consistent in your life, especially when it comes to you maybe finding out the certain informations, specific informations through that particular person. So it's to do with somebody who you trust, and it's to do with somebody who is consistent in your life, that it's going to provide you with a specific information. And what this specific information is going to be all about, it's nothing to do with your personal situation at all whatsoever, but it's to do with something else. And what you're going to become aware of is through that other situation, like in somebody else's life, for example, that is going to give you a clear indication of what do you need to do when it comes to your life, for example, my gorgeous Cancerini. So this is going to be brilliant. So what you're going to find out, it's not going to be directly connected to your personal situation, personal problem, something that you just didn't know what to do with, but especially over the last 10 months, this was like really making you worried for way too often. So you're going to be able to understand and know exactly how to apply that to your life, to your situation, and what to do. And this in itself is going to mean to you so much, because over the last 10 months something was making you extremely unhappy and extremely negative. And I'm not saying that you were sad and negative every single moment, every single day, but I'm just saying that sometimes we are just basically are having like a certain problem at the back of our mind that is actually controlling us, and it's controlling us in such a way where we are not even aware of it. For example, when we need to make an important decision, we just very often drift into that mode of being indecisive. And when we are indecisive, that's not good. No, baby, no, because at the same time you don't trust your intuition, you don't follow your intuition, because you don't go with that initial voice within, and because you don't necessarily ignore this voice within, but it's like basically kind of you just really need to reach the certain stage of your life where things start looking up for you. And this is exactly what is actually going to happen for you right now. So now things have been making you really unhappy for the last 10 months. I'm not saying that you were unhappy every single day, but it was affecting you in such a way where you were indecisive. And so it's important to snap out of it at some moment in time. So this is why this week is going to be quite significant when it comes to you indeed. So what you're going to become aware of, it's like kind of almost going to be like an enlightening moment in time, because this is going to mean to you so much, because now you will be able to make a really, really important decision. And an important decision that you are going to make is stemming and coming from the fact that quite a while back you knew that you knew that you need to move on with certain aspects. The certain aspects have come to an end in your life, and now this is going to become absolutely obvious. So you're going to find yourself on this spiritual quest, not for the first time in your life where you will want more out of life, but it's only going to be highlighted now how much you do need to make specific changes. And this is going to make you aware of the fact that now it's time to move on with your life and leave certain things behind. It's going to help you so much in order to make that important decision that you have been indecisive about for such a long time. It was making a way too challenging for you to even think about it, let alone to actually, to put your foot down and just make this important decision. This is all going to lead towards you a kind of a really feeling that you want to kind of learn something more, something is going to be on your mind now suddenly, how you want to learn something, some kind of idea, some kind of realization. This is all not only going to lead towards you wanting to move on with your life, but now suddenly there is some kind of like inspiration going to be on your mind. And that particular inspiration that is going to be on your mind, you will remember exactly 3 months ago, you came across something, and something inspired you like so much, like, oh my God, something inspired you, it blew you away like there is no tomorrow, and you couldn't stop thinking about it whatsoever. But now 3 months and you didn't do anything about it. Why? Because you needed this period. Within the last 3 months, you've learned so much about yourself, you learned so much about your life, you learned so much about your spirituality, you learned so much about the world in general, you learned so much about some scary and like weird and bizarre things, in terms of confirmations that you had. But at the same time, this is all gonna boil down towards this particular moment of your own enlightenment, my gorgeous Cancerini, indeed. And this is why you needed to wait 3 months in order for 3 months to go, because you will realize, you can reflect and realize how much you've actually been through over the last 3 months. So you have learned something invaluable when it comes to your spiritual journey. And this is why 3 months ago, when you had this idea, you couldn't do anything about it because the time wasn't right. You still subconsciously were directed at that moment in time to kind of go towards certain aspects of your life and dive in. This is all going to become absolutely obvious. You were prepared for this for the last 3 months. So now this is going to be highlighted again, that particular idea that you've actually had. And this is now going to come in form of you feeling very kind of intense about it, like very optimistic about it, very keen about it, very enthusiastic to kind of, oh yeah, I'm gonna kind of find out a little bit more, I'm gonna investigate a little bit more. And as soon as you make that particular step, something amazing is going to happen. As soon as you dive in, you will see that a few days after that moment in time, you're already going to become aware of some kind of like a really mind-blowing events that you are going to be part of, that you wouldn't normally even realize, you wouldn't normally even recognize. You will see that one step is going to lead to another, and this in itself is going to be absolutely remarkable, my gorgeous Cancerini, indeed. And also at the beginning of this week, please do pay attention to your body, mind and spirit. Try to recharge your batteries and try to really mentally prepare yourself for what's to come, because this week is going to be remarkably busy for you. But then at the same time, the next few weeks are going to be completely unrecognized in compared to the last couple of years of your lives. There is so much that you're going to become aware of and that you're going to surprise yourself about in the best possible way. You will realize how much you've changed, and you will realize there is so much more to life that you want to do, that you want to investigate, that you want to explore. So this is important. And when I say the mind, body and spirit, you also need to pay attention to the specific part of your body. The specific part of your body at the beginning of this week, it's going to require your attention. Whether you're going to feel like, oh, my stomach is hurting, maybe you need to change your diet. Whether you're going to feel like, oh, my bones are hurting, maybe you need to spend more time in the sun and take more vitamin D, for example. Maybe you're going to feel like you're really tired, and then you just do completely opposite. Maybe you just need to kind of exercise and go through, baby. Do you know what I mean? Because exercise can help you so much if you're constantly or persistently feeling tired. If you are, of course, able to exercise. So do pay attention to like the certain part of body trying to get your attention, so you get the most of it at such a sacred time of your lives. And by the time you get to the mid part of this week, my gorgeous Cancerini, it's like basically, you are gonna start becoming very kind of optimistic and confident about your, about you. It's to do with a certain task. There is a certain task that you're going to become aware of at around the midweek, and you're going to become extremely confident about it. But you will understand that at the same time, you need to kind of pay attention to kind of like organization in your life. You need to reorganize things in your life, and you also need to understand that the priority is changing like there is no tomorrow. So as soon as you become confident about some kind kind of a task here, what you need to remember is that you need to be sharp, you need to be quick, and you need to be clever. For some reason, you are going to be thinking how you want to do that later, how you're going to do this in a few months' time. No, baby, no. The time is actually now. So this is what you need to pay attention to. And how you're going to know what this is, because there is a certain person in your life, the specific person in your life, it's really going to inspire you so much. And that particular person in your life who's going to inspire you so much, it's also at the same time kind of through that person you're going to understand also, like that person is going to tell you something, it's going to give you some kind of advice. And once you have this advice, you're going to realize how some people can be very, very selfish, and some people can be kind of really dishonest. But at the same time, this is all kind of going to push you towards you being honest with yourself, and towards you realizing that your own advice is the most powerful advice that you can actually get. That particular person is like a really good person in your life, very honest person, somebody really good, somebody really honest, somebody really nice, who is really kind of gonna help you to come out of your shell. And that is, it's important when it comes to you kind of facing new aspects of your life, but also when it comes to you needing to come out of your comfort zone and understanding that things are not going to happen in life if you don't take a certain risk, because you are like kind of like, so far you were thinking about this like this is some kind of a risk that you're going to become completely confident about now. So this is how things are going to change nicely in your favor. So somebody in your life, it's really going to motivate you here again, like there is no tomorrow. But what you're going to become confident about, look at this, I'll show you. What are you going to become so confident about? I'm just going to shuffle these cards, my gorgeous Cancerini. What are you going to become confident about? What are you going to become confident about? You see this? Oh my God, the Chariot, of course. Look at this. This is crazy. It's all about the confidence. It's all, look at this. What are you going to become confident about? It's like really, to be quite honest with you, it's you like knowing that, you know, that particular task that you're going to be facing, it's going to bring you a success. It's going to bring a success into your life, but it's also going to really help you to remove yourself from the people that are devilish, from the people that don't make sense in your life anymore, and from the people that have been affecting your life in such a negative way. I'm not talking about the people that are necessarily like your family members or your best friends. No, baby, no. But it's maybe more to do with the people who you are working with, if you are working, or with the people who you come across like on a daily or a weekly basis. You will see that an aspect of your life that you do like very regularly, it didn't necessarily come to an end. It didn't necessarily come to an end, but it's just going to need from you to make a necessary change, and maybe you know, like go somewhere else, like find a different place. So for example, if you were going, let's say, to exercise somewhere, now you're just going to start realizing maybe this is not the right place for me, I'm just going to need to go somewhere else. So you're just going to need to realize where you're going to, like on weekly or a regular basis, that you felt actually really uncomfortable for a while. And this is also your sign to actually to take this really seriously, because you have found yourself surrounded by the specific people who are maybe draining your energy, and that is a clear sign that karmically you need to remove yourself from this group of people, because it's all happening purely because you do have a very much so completely different opinion and a way of thinking about something very, very specific, very kind of strong and very abrupt, you know. So about something very specific, you do have a completely different way of thinking that it's kind of making you so much apart, and that is causing like kind of this amount of negative energy to actually take over. So the bottom line is, it's just like kind of protect your energy by understanding to always try to be surrounded by the people who actually make you feel good about yourself, you know, rather than people who are kind of bringing your energy down, because after a while it's just that's affecting your life in a negative way, you know. So if you're like really surrounded by the people who are constantly making you feel really, really negative, you know, this life is absolutely too short. Just always try to find the ways how you can find yourself out of that situation and go somewhere where the vibration and energy serves you so much more, where you become inspired, so you can grow, you can learn things, and you can enjoy your life. You know, very soon you will realize and you will know exactly what was I talking about and what was I referring to here, my gorgeous Cancerini. Indeed, by the time you get to the last part of this week, you know, it's like all about this idea that you are going to have. By the time you get to the last part of this week, you're actually going to first of all, you know what, you're going to feel extremely spiritual. You're going to feel like you want to do something you haven't done in an absolute ages. But when it comes to your spirituality, this is a very good sign, and it's a sign that you're coming out of yourself. So for example, at around the end of the week, you may feel like you want to like smudge your home with a dry sage, or you may feel like you want to kind of use certain crystals you haven't used in ages, or maybe you will feel like you want to bless your home or whatever, or maybe you will feel like you want to use the certain tarot cards, maybe you will feel like you want to meditate. But as soon as you start doing what you feel like doing, you know, in terms of spirituality, you will see exactly what I mean, my gorgeous Cancerini. Then suddenly, you know, there is going to be that idea that it's going to come to you. So let's say you're walking through your house and you're smudging your home with a dry sage, and you're saying little mantras or affirmation or whatever you do, and then suddenly now this idea comes to you, this like really kind of interesting idea comes to you with some kind of like this interesting idea. It's going to come to you that it's also bringing you a completely different perspective on things that you were kind of worrying about. At the same time, this is bringing you strength and confidence, but also you are going to kind of realize that you've got now, you know, that idea. It's also going to give you completely different perspective on what you think that you have in order to make the necessary step, like a really big step in your life. You will realize that somehow you've got everything you need now in order to do something really, really big, to do something really bold. You know, this is all about the bold move that you are going to do, but then at the same time, this bold move that you are going to do, it's a lot to do with a vision that you had for absolute ages, how you want your life to be, what you want your ultimate destination in life to be. This in itself, it's now indicating the fact that you have been through so much, my gorgeous Cancerini. So now this is something that you really need to kind of take on. It's to do with a vision, how you want your life to be for such a long time. It's yet again going to be quite highlighted, but then on another hand, you know, it's all happening because you are overcoming a really, really big challenge and a really big obstacle that was holding you down for such a long time. And how I started this reading at the beginning of this week, it's all kind of like a stemming from that. You know, one thing, as I said, is literally going to lead to another, my gorgeous Cancerini. Indeed. So not only you're gonna feel really spiritual at around the end of the week, not only you're gonna like have this idea while you're doing something spiritual, but then again, at the same time, it's not just only about the idea, but it's about your power to actually recognize something. You know, this idea, it's going to like kind of give you also the power to recognize things that you were worrying about, especially when it comes to finances, to see that from a completely different angle. And then at the same time, it's all about you opening yourself up and understanding that you are going to need to make a really, really bold, massive move here. And in order to make that bold move, you need to be ready. And in order to be ready, you need to really kind of at the same time, you know, you need to understand that, you know, now you've actually learned, you know, you need to have a confidence, you know, and also, sorry, in order to have a confidence, you need to understand that, you know, this is like pretty much so about you, a kind of understanding that you're going to need to take that risk that I mentioned before, which is going to be highlighted at around the end of the week. Indeed, this is going to be very important because a very, very big wish is going to come true. This is what you need to understand. A really big wish, my gorgeous Cancerini, it's about to become true. It's about to become reality here. And that in itself is going to bring you the life, you know, that you can only dream about. And now this is the beginning. Now this is the start. So you need to recognize exactly what this challenge it's actually going to be. Oh my God, my gorgeous Cancerini, this is going to be absolutely mind-blowing week in so many different ways. So now I'm just going to shuffle this oracle card, and I'm going to see what your oracle card is actually going to be. Okay, so your oracle card is, my gorgeous Cancerini, your oracle card for this week is going to be, oh my goodness, the return of your own power. Okay, so this week you are basically, what is going to be happening throughout this week, you know, every single challenge you have throughout this week, every single idea you have throughout this week, every single realization that you have throughout this week, you know, there's so many things that are going to be on your mind that are going to surprise you, how adamant you are going to feel about them, and you're not going to even understand where this is coming from. These are all kind of very powerful and subtle messages that you need to pay attention to, and especially when it comes to the actual when it comes to the 11th of February, pay attention to exactly what is going to happen on the 11th of February, because on the 11th of February you are going to have this very, very interesting sign, very personal sign. And the 11th of February, the personal sign that you are going to have, it's going to come to you at a time when you feel extremely, extremely peaceful, extremely, extremely relaxed. So something is going to be happening on the 11th of February where you're going to feel extremely peaceful and extremely relaxed. And then at that moment in time, something very, very wise is going to come to you, some kind of a very, very wise realization. And that at that moment in time, you are going to have a sign that that wise realization, it's your pathway to your own abundance. So pay attention to what is going to happen on the 11th of February, because that at the same time, it's also an important time where you are going to release that energy that was holding you down, the energy that was making you feel like kind of fearful. And at the same time, this is going to bring an ultimate security into your life. Like, oh my God. Okay, my gorgeous Cancerini, thank you ever so much for watching my videos. I'm sending you brightest blessings, lots of love, healing, peace and light to every single one of you. Thank you ever so much for watching my videos. Sasha Bonasin, Psychic Medium. Love you. Bye.